Today is Monday, the 24th of October, 2016. I'm Keith Warr, and welcome to another episode of Homeless in Titusville. And today I'm being joined by Robert Miller. So, Robert, how old are you?
I'm 42.
42 years old. And how long have you been homeless?
Almost 4 years.
And what led to that homelessness?
Just getting down here and not being able to find anything in my field that I could do, and then my medical and physical disabilities kicking in more so because of the change of the environment, and I just couldn't find anything I could do and tolerate.
So let us know a little bit about your home life. Have you been married?
Yes, twice.
You've been married twice. And do you have any children?
Yes, I have a 22-year-old daughter who's actually getting married next month.
And does your daughter know that you're homeless?
Yes.
And what has she said about your homelessness?
She could care less.
Wow. Do you have any other living relatives?
I have my father in West Virginia, and I have an aunt and her partner and some cousins in Washington, and they're all of the same decision.
So you don't have any family here in Florida, and even if you did, you don't have the family that would really care that you're homeless?
Nope.
Why is that? I mean, were there some disputes in the family, or why is that?
There were disputes in the family. There was abuse when I was younger. I just became the black sheep, the throwaway child, pretty much.
And what kind of a childhood did you have? Were your parents married? Stable life? Did you move from town to town? What was it like?
My mom and dad were divorced when I was 6. And the abuse started when I was 4 and ended when I was about 13 with my stepfather.
And what about your life as a child? Was it stable, or did you move a lot?
No, I moved a lot. I think I can remember 5 different schools alone that I went to.
Wow. Well, what brought you here to Titusville?
My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend. So you currently have a girlfriend?
Yes.
And what's the situation with that? How come you're not living with her?
Because she's currently living with her ex-husband and her son to help her son get through school, and her ex-husband and I are not a good mix.
Oh, wow. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So, as I'm sure a lot of people can see in the background, we're at a property and there's a garage behind us, and how come you're not staying in this home that's behind us? And or is this somewhere that you do stay? I mean, what is the situation here?
No, this is a good friend of mine's house that she just recently found out was condemned, or is going to be condemned, and I just thought it would be a good backdrop to have this interview.
Okay, so this is the best place we could find.
Yeah.
So how, do you receive any help from the government? Do you get anything like food stamps? Do you get any welfare? Do you have one of those things known on the street as an Obama phone?
Yes, I have an Obama phone. However, it was stolen, and I do get SNAP benefits.
So you do get some food stamps?
Yes.
And you don't have any other benefits that you get from the government?
No, sir.
And what about your health? Where do you go if you get sick? Who treats you?
I go to Parish Medical Center. They know me by name.
Okay. And is there any? So you don't go to any health clinics or receive any medications for anywhere, or do you?
Well, I initially started at Circles of Care, and they sent me on to Brevard Health Alliance, who is supposed to be taking care of my medicine, but I hear from them about every 6 to 8 months that I have medicine in, when my medicine only runs me for about 3 months.
Wow. And what kind of medicines are we talking? I don't need to know the specific names of them, but what kind of conditions are they treating?
Well, they're treating bipolar, they're treating manic depressive, they're treating social anxiety disorder, and they're also treating the lumbar radiculopathy and neuropathy in my back from L5S1 and L5S2 with gabapentin, Depakote, and Vibrid, and they were thinking about a 4th one, but I haven't started on it yet.
So these are some things that make it a little more challenging challenging for employment and stuff like that. So how are you supplementing your money? Like how do you make money when you do? Do you panhandle? Do you do odd jobs?
I do odd jobs. I do mobile mechanic work. I'm all over the Freebies in Need and the Jobs Network, jumping on sites that people need starters replaced or brakes redone or anything like that. Because that's what I know how to do. That's what I've been doing since 1990.
And what kind of payment or what kind of money do you make doing that? Like tell us the worst payment and the best payment.
Well, some people would consider the worst payment was when I did a set of brakes for a peanut butter sandwich, but the look that the lady had on her face when I was done was priceless. And the best was probably $350 redoing a front drive axle on an all-wheel drive Mercedes.
Wow. So you have a knowledge of how to work on high-end cars like Mercedes and stuff like that, huh?
Yes, sir.
So it's just your health that kind of stands in the way of being able to do this for 40 hours a week at a job.
Yeah, I can't stand. If I stand for more than about 30 to 45 minutes, my left leg just goes numb, turns to a rock, and I can barely walk. I even have that problem like if I go grocery shopping.
Wow. So, what kind of help do you feel that there is out here for people that are homeless like yourself?
I'm going to be totally honest, unless you have tits or a baby, there isn't any. Honestly. Because all the shelters are open for women and all the shelters are open for little kids, but unless it gets really, really cold, men are just left to their own.
Well, I think in some situations that's true, and in other situations it's not. I know here in Titusville there is no overnight shelter, and when there was, it was only from 10 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, and you could only stay there a total of 3 days within a 90-day period. So basically that got you off the streets for 12 days a year, which is nothing.
No.
Nothing. How do you keep clean? Like, do you have somewhere you shower, and how do you wash your clothes?
Well, I have some friends that will let me wash my clothes at their house, or I will take a bath, actually in the bathroom of a gas station. Wow.
So you had to take little bird baths.
Yeah.
And do you have any friends out here on the street? Is there anyone that you spend a lot of time with, or an animal?
Yeah, I have a dog.
You do. You have a dog, and that's for companionship.
Yes, it's for companionship, and she also helps handle my anxiety.
Okay. And like, what do you see? Like, being the end of this. Like, how do you see getting out of homelessness?
Right now, the only way I'm seeing it is going back to truck driving, but I can't even afford to get my licenses and stuff back. I can't afford to really even go help anybody work on their cars to start saving money to do that, because my brakes are bad in my car and I now have a busted rear window.
So you're a guy that works on cars for a living, and you can't fix your own vehicle because it costs money to get those parts.
Exactly. And I can't get to work on the cars because my cars broke down.
I see. Wow. So, how about, have you had any kind of interactions, or do you have any legal troubles? Have you been in trouble with the law?
I was in trouble with the law back in 1996, and then I was in trouble with the law 2 years ago.
And the most recent thing 2 years ago, tell me a little bit about that.
I got into pills, and the gentleman's daughter and I started into pills, and we started skimming money off of his account, and she ended up passing away, and I ended up holding the bag.
So you don't do the pills anymore?
No, sir.
And how did you get off the pills?
Just quit.
Quit them.
I was never addicted. It was the pain in my back made me want to take them.
So you were never physically dependent on the pills?
No.
Wow. And how about now? Are you into now any kind of criminal activity, or are you staying on the straight and narrow?
I'm staying on the straight and narrow. I'm on probation, been on it for 2 years, and never had a violation once.
And how much more time do you have left on probation?
3 more years.
3 more years. And what is that like? I was under the understanding that you had to have an address to give probation.
Well, I give them, like, when I park out behind somebody's house, or if I'm parking in a parking lot, or I make sure and keep in touch with my PO to let her know where I'm going to be at. Plus, since my phone is off, I email her every once a week.
Okay.
To let her know what's going on.
Wow. So you're doing best you can to remain compliant and do it.
Yep.
Do your part. Do what you're supposed to do.
I spent 42 days in Brevard County hell, and I don't want to go back.
Yeah. Is there anything that you think that the viewing public should know about homelessness, or is there something that bothers you that you think people don't know?
It bothers me the way that there be people just sitting places, not bothering anyone at all, not polluting, not making noise, and people feel like they have to run up on them and tell them they have to leave. I mean, look at all the people from the Bay Towers. That was 70-some families that suddenly had nowhere to go. If they had no one in their family around here to go, and you run them off of a park bench of a place that was closed forever, I mean, why? If they're there and they're behaving and there's no issues, leave them alone. They've already got enough to deal with.
So are you kind of touching on the subject of trespasses from the police? Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about?
Yeah. There's no reason. If they're not out there raising hell, causing problems, not on someone's property that doesn't want them there, like of an open store, like I could understand somebody hanging out outside Dollar General or something. But if it's a closed mall and there hasn't been any business there in years, and there's somewhere dry and safe to sleep, just leave them alone. I mean, they aren't hurting anything. You see a lot of these people that get put out places, they end up drinking. They end up getting into drugs. Well, that's to escape the reality of knowing that they've always got to be looking over their shoulder, worried about who's going to tell me I have to come leave now.
Yeah. And so before we go, I'm going to ask you a little bit, or actually, I want to mention. I see you have a lot of problems with your teeth. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that and what kind of treatment you're able to get.
Well, my grandfather was a dentist, so he would be shooting me right now. But I just quit taking care of my teeth about 8 years ago. They've slowly fallen apart. I've got maybe 11 teeth left. Every time I have an infection, I have to go up to Brevard Health, or not to BHA, to Parish. They give me a referral to go to the health department. Then the health department tries to get a hold of me within 3 to 6 months. Then I'll go in and they'll pull one tooth, and then the whole cycle begins again. And I think in the 4 years I've been here, they've pulled 2 teeth.
Huh. And is there anything that you need? Do you need a tent? Do you need a job, clothing, food for your dog? What's your greatest need right now?
My greatest need right now is a job and rear brake shoes for a 2002 Mercury Sable, and then I can go on about my work.
Wow. So if you had those you said shoes
shoes for an 02 Sable, I could go right on about my work helping people.
Wow, that's great stuff, man.
And if you all hadn't heard, I was the crazy guy who spent Hurricane Matthew in his car with his dog outdoors. Because they wouldn't let my dog into a shelter.
Right. Wow. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you taking a minute to let us get to know you. And we'll be following you periodically to check on you, see how you're doing.
Okay.
But I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.